Hey, how's it going? It's Jonathan Miller. Let's go for a drive. I hope everyone is safe and healthy out there. Welcome to episode 4 of Let's Go for a Drive podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. Please consider hitting that subscribe button below and the bell to be notified when new episodes air. Also, please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. You'll also be able to find this podcast, the audio only, on iTunes. The link is going to be below in the description. If you have any comments or questions about the video or for my guests, please leave them below or contact me. We'll be happy to answer them. So my guests today are the owners of Modern Elix Paint Protection Specialists in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Please welcome, in no particular order, Eddie, Jay, and Evan. How you guys doing? Good. So would you guys mind introducing yourselves and telling me a little bit about Modern Elix?
How's it going? My name's Eddie. I'm 1/3 of Modern Elix Paint Protection. We three of us, I should say, have a passion for cars and keeping them as brand new as possible. So that's how we kind of got into our business. I think we each have about between 15 and 18 years experience between the three of us. Jay, what's that position?
My name's Jay. I've been doing paint protection for maybe 11 or 12 years at this point. Basically started off learning when the industry was just getting into it, and now we've gotten to a level where it's all about speed, consistency, and going from protection to perfection.
I'm Evan, the last one in the group. I've been doing it about 10 years, give or take, and really enjoying this new company that we started.
Sounds good. So I'm going to assume that the people listening know what paint protection film is, but might not know like in detail what it is or some of the detailed aspects of it. So some of these questions might be basic, but some of them might be a little more in detail. So first one, basically, what is PPF or paint protection film?
Paint protection film is a clear urethane film that goes over the painted surface of the vehicle. It's protected against road debris, rocks, stones, anything that gets kicked up on your vehicle as you're driving it. It's been around probably, give or take, 20 years, maybe a couple years less than that. And the technology now is a lot different from when it first came out. The clarity of some of these films that are out there, or you can't even see it. I mean, from the naked eye, from about 3 feet away, you don't even know it's there, but you're part of perspective. And that was the whole basis of it. It originated as the old leather bras back in the early '90s, to now something that's protecting your vehicle, and you don't have that kind of eyesore.
I actually had one of those leather bras on my M3. All right, so the main question is, why would I want to put PPF on my car?
So one of the easiest reasons would be just to protect your paint from outside elements, things hitting your car, rocks, stone chips, anything that light impacts. But another major thing that people don't actually think about is, due to EPA regulations, paint these days is not what it used to be. It's not as thick as it used to be, not as hard as it used to be. You see a lot of these cars with like clear coat that's faded away, that's been destroyed by the sun, and paint protection film will actually protect against that as well. So even if you don't get rock chip, you're still protecting the paint, keeping it looking new, opposed to getting beat on by the sun for so many years.
Right. And my mom, I'm not going to say what brand of car she has, but the paint is super soft and it's faded. It just looks so bad. I can never get it looking right. So that's probably one of the cars and brands that would have done well with PPF when we got the car. But so basically, what type of vehicle can you have PPF installed on? Is it just sports cars? Can you put it on your SUV, on your pickup truck?
You can put it on anything, absolutely anything.
Right.
I mean, you can put it on countertops in your kitchen. You can put it on boats. You can put it on everything.
Nice.
Any type of forest surface.
Right.
Chrome. When mainly for automotive industry. You can use it.
Right.
They're starting to get into residential commercial applications.
Right. So what are the properties of PPF? I've heard that, they talk about self-healing. Obviously, it's one of the main things that's scratch or chip resistant. Can you talk a little bit about like the self-healing aspect maybe?
Yeah, so the film is self-healing. You can see there's videos online of taking a wire brush. You can scratch it up and then just take a heat gun or hot water and pour it on it, and the scratch is just going to go away.
So that's obviously a good thing. You wouldn't want that happening on your paint. It's not going to go away.
Right.
So what brand of PPF do you guys use, and why do you use that particular brand?
We use XPEL Ultimate Plus, and to us, it's the best film on the market right now. Clarity is, like I said, you can't even notice it's on the vehicle. It's really easy to work with, and it's just, I can't think of anything bad to say about the film. It works great.
So is that one of the major things you look at is clarity of the film?
Yeah, there's a lot of different factors that led us to only go with XPEL. So the clarity of the film, you want to look at the warranty. XPEL has a 10-year warranty. You want to look at the software that goes along with it. So we use patterns. We have a pattern software to put on each vehicle for each panel of the car. And XPEL has their own software, and it is by far the best software out there. The kits for they have kits for 1960s vehicles on there. So it's a very, really, really big database.
Right.
Awesome pattern.
And what if, let's say I buy a G-Wagon and it's got the matte or satin finish, but if I, put clear PPF on, then obviously the car is not going to look matte anymore. How do you overcome that?
So they have XPEL Stealth, which is the same exact film, only a matte finish. So keep everything matte, or if you have a gloss paint and you wanted your car to be matte, you could put Stealth on there.
Right, all right. So that's helpful for a lot of people. So what's the most popular area that people have the film applied to their car? And what would you suggest for someone I want to get PPF done on my new car?
Well, first, the holder. That's the first. This is the front face, the most front-facing area of the vehicle. That's the most highest impact area you're going to have. And then up along with the few inches of the front of the hood and the fenders as well. I think, in my personal opinion, I think getting the whole entire front end, so the full hood, both full fenders, the mirror caps, and the full bumper, that gives you the most coverage for daily driving, especially on some of these highways around here in South Region. And then with that, some of the superior cars that we have that we've worked on before, the Porsches, the Corvettes, things of that nature. We have our competition package, the full front end, as well as the full entire rocker kit, and then the impact area behind the rear wheels, as well as the A-pillars and the leading edge of the roof one as well. And that's for cars that are driven spirited driving, and then some cars that do see the track from time to time.
All right, so I'm just gonna interrupt you guys for 1 second, and I just want to let everyone know, ask everyone out there, if you have the means and you like the content that I'm producing, please visit my Patreon page. There's a link on itsjonathanmiller.com, and I'm going to start uploading behind-the-scenes content, and even if we get enough people on there, I might post the videos early, 24 hours early, for you guys to check them out. So you can give as little as $5 a month or as much as you want, and I really appreciate the support. I think we're getting a lot of traction here, and I obviously really appreciate all my guests coming on. So now back to our regularly scheduled program. So quick fun question. I know I've asked you guys a little bit about this, but for a street car, are you taking 3 pedals or 2 pedals?
3 all day. Always. I don't know if you can see it. Always 3.
I know. I'll post a picture up on the video of your tattoo. I'm actually interviewing a famous race car driver tomorrow, so I'm going to ask him the same question. Obviously, his race cars are paddle shifts, but I'm going to ask him for the street what he prefers. All right, so back to PPF. Can it only be installed on new cars with new paint, or could you put it on a car that the paint's older, maybe it's not perfect, or maybe there's a couple chips on it? Can you install it on that as well?
The way I like to see it is, how bad is it? Is it going to get worse? Is it worth keeping from getting worse? We're not the type of people to sit there and just sell you on stuff just to sell it. We want to make sure that you're getting your money's worth. So if it's already really bad, we'll tell you, listen, don't spend the money on it. You made it this far at this point. It's not going to get worse, and this is not going to make it better. Now, if you do have, like, some miles on it, not, like, very high or anything, and a couple chips here and there, we can touch up very little ones. The reason we only do some of them is if you put too much paint in any of these, it'll look like little bumps in the film, which you don't want.
Right.
So after a certain point, I would say it's not worth doing, but most of the time it's doable.
Okay.
Yeah, ideally, on a brand new car would be best, but you have the used market for some of these higher-end sports cars. I mean, they're very popular. So I mean, yeah, a couple thousand miles, you might have a couple chips here and there. Yeah, like Jay had said, we usually go around the car and we can touch up if needed. But yeah, ideally, yeah, brand new car or a car with very low miles, delivery miles, would be best.
Nice. So I think a lot of this question I'm asked a lot is, why is it so expensive to get the PPF put on your car?
So the material itself is not cheap. Also, if you've ever tried it on your own, when you're buying something that's not cheap to begin with, then once you try it and realize what happens when you don't do it right and realize how much money you've lost, and then you're calling us to come in and do it, it adds up very quick.
Right.
So the thing isn't just because we want to make a ton of money. There's a lot of learning to do in this process. We've gone through thousands and thousands of dollars of film learning from our own mistakes, and basically it just balances out.
Right. I mean, obviously, I'm sure it takes like a lot of practice and a lot of skill, like anything. I've seen these guys install it on some very high-end cars, and I don't want to do it myself. I don't have. I mean, I've tried to put vinyl on cars before, and I know that's a pain sometimes. And I know you obviously want to get it perfect. You're getting a lot of high-end cars. You don't want any questions. You don't want it lifting or any bubbles or what have you. So how long does the PPF last once it's installed on the car?
I would say it depends on how much you abuse it. Let's say you put this on and you barely ever drive the car, keep it inside. You'll see over 10 years out of it before you have any other issues with the actual film itself.
Right.
If you're on the track every single weekend, you're going to go through that quick because you'll start putting holes in it.
Right. And Evan was saying that the XPEL that you use has a 10-year warranty?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so that warranty covers from any staining, any delamination, any like peeling of the separate layers of the film. So, and any like discoloration. So that's covered for 10 years. Now that doesn't really go into the fact, like depending on your driving.
Right.
If you're, riding people all the time and you're riding on dirt roads and you're picking up rocks, that's going to change the lifespan of the film.
Right. So once the PPF is on the car, can you wax over it? Can you ceramic coat? Can you put a buffer on it? Can you put vinyl stickers on it?
Yeah, so the film can be waxed. XPEL specifically suggests to not use a wax that has any dyes. Make sure it's not flammable because it will affect the clarity of the film over time. Yeah, vinyl is fine. Stickers are fine as well. Ceramic is fine. I know some people that we've talked to, some of our customers, they're in between ceramic and PPF, or they want to do both. PPF has to go on before the ceramic. If not, then the PPF, if the ceramic is done beforehand, then the PPF will adhere correctly, and you end up peeling it up. And yeah, it can be polished. Some of the scratches that don't self heal can be polished as well. Yeah.
You basically treat it like paint.
Right.
Strongly advise not to go through car wash and stuff.
Okay.
But that's easy.
That's just with just cars in general.
Right.
So I wouldn't trust an automated car wash.
So are there any negatives to installing PPF in your car?
I would say once you get into the show cars, stuff that are actually going to be judged, concourse cars, I wouldn't put it on that. People always think that you're hiding stuff, and that's about it.
But for all the guys that you everyday cars or garage queens, just put it on and you're gonna be happy.
Yep. We've actually done some cars that, for example, we've done a Ferrari that went on the Colorado Grand, came back, ripped off all the PPF, getting ready to go to Ferrari National.
Nice.
Obviously, you want to have film on if you're going to Ferrari National.
Right. So what are some of the, I've seen some of the cars that you guys have installed the PPF on. So what are some of the coolest cars that you guys have installed it on?
There's a lot of cars that we can't even speak about. Like, if you notice that car I told you that went on the Colorado Grand, I was very vague about that.
Right.
But yeah, there's some fun stuff.
Yeah, right. we over the years we've had a lot of fun cars that I never thought that I would even see in person. But I can't say anything.
So
we did a Toyota Sienna.
Oh, nice. That's the best one. So you were saying that the XPEL has these patterns. So there's a pattern for like each panel for each separate car, correct?
Right.
And I would say probably 98% of the cars that are on the road, they have a pattern for just about the entire vehicle.
I don't know, man. They don't have that Honda Accord, anything other than full front.
97.
And so you basically have like, you take the roll of the PPF and you have like a plotter that cuts it all out?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we pick which year, which model, which trim level, what panel we want to cut. It has it grouped onto a certain size roll, and we have to keep all the different sizes of the XL in stock, and then put it onto the plotter, and then it prints it out for us.
Right. And I think I just saw that they just came out with like a big size, so you can do like the full hood on some cars where you couldn't do it before.
Yeah, so these two are, so in particular the Ferrari 812 Superfast, the Ferrari Portofino, the Porsche Macan can now do full hood in one piece. Supra, Toyota Supra, the brand new one.
It made a lot of cars a lot easier.
Right.
You don't have to have 15 triangles up at the top of the hood, or like the Porsche Macan, you can do it with the 60-inch film that was the biggest before. It's not advisable. You're gonna have some stretch lines here and there, some distortions in the film. Now with the 72, it's perfect.
Nice. So what like shapes or areas on a car are the most difficult to install? And has there been like one particular panel on one particular car that you guys have just been like pulling your hair out trying to install it on?
I mean, I broke a sweat on the Sienna.
Many moons ago, Evan and I worked on a Lexus CT 200H with front bumper. I still get nightmares. I don't know. The way that I don't even know. Just the way that the bumper was shaped, it just we struggled with it for a while.
Yeah.
Eventually got it, but it was a struggle. But I would say probably rear bumpers.
Rear bumpers are always the hardest part of the car.
That's like the quarter panels on like a GT, not the GT car.
Yeah.
They're highly involved.
Any like extremely rounded
Mm-hmm.
is going to be like, say, imagine trying to wrap basketball with like wrapping paper.
Right.
So the rounder it is, it's going to be harder to get it to go down.
Right. So you want to like wrap Lamborghinis all day because they're got all those flat panels.
I don't know. Urus is not fun.
Yeah,
How about a G-Wagon? I've heard G-Wagons, even though they look like boxy, they're a pain.
We would like to not even bring up G-Wagons. No, they're a nightmare to do.
Yeah. So what are
a lot of pieces, a lot of just not fun.
Yeah. So what are your guys' dream? If you could PPF like one car you haven't done before, what would it be?
The countertop.
We've done countertop.
That's great. Measure. Stuff.
The car that we haven't, that we would like. I haven't done a Bugatti.
I haven't done a Bugatti yet. I haven't done a Koenigsegg.
Yeah.
I haven't done a Pagani.
Yeah, I'll go with Bugatti for me.
Yeah, Bugatti. That'd be a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
Have you guys?
Nice and round.
Yeah.
Complex.
Have you guys done the new Ford GT yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
How was that getting into like that buttress area in the back?
In the tunnel area.
Yeah.
Finally, yeah, that's the hardest part of the car.
Yeah. So what are like the tools that a PPF installer uses, and like what's your most important tool that you use?
And
Yeah, hands and the squeegee.
All the squeegee does is just the gel out from the gel leather slip out from between the film itself and the paint. But honestly, it's the hands are where it's at. You have to position everything for especially bumpers. There's fairing light holes. You have to just make sure everything's positioned right, goes evenly. If we're doing anything custom, we have to make sure everything's smooth out in the fingers. Honestly, our hands are our number one goal.
Right. And you guys, can you install it dry, or you recommend it to install it wet?
Yeah, it's got to be wet. Yeah.
Wetter the better.
So is that different? Like a wrap on a car, like a colored wrap? I've seen them do it dry. Is it just like a different material?
That has air channels in it. Our material doesn't.
Okay, because I see like they'll heat that with like a heat gun or something.
We can't do that.
Okay. And if anyone's like people listening, maybe they want to get involved in PPF installation. Like, what's the difficulty level? How would someone get into it? What kind of training is available for people?
First, I would suggest running. Other than that, have a lot of money saved up to go through somewhere. But no, I would say there's a lot of training classes out there. A lot of places are offering all kinds of training. Start with that, and then you learn as you go.
Yeah, the training class you're not gonna leave it a pro. It's
right.
Repetition and practice. Repetition and practice. It's really.
And then once you stop doing it for a little bit, you forget how to do it. It's weird. Evan was off the last 4 days. You're still trying to figure stuff out.
Are you guys keeping busy during this coronavirus epidemic going on?
So we've limited our shop hours so much to the point where it's like, we'll get a call, we'll say, hey, leave the car, we'll come get it, we'll disinfect everything and work inside the shop by ourselves, like, don't come visit, don't watch us. And if you want to pick it up, like, we'll have it ready and we're just going to roll it out. Pay over the phone or online invoicing and less contact as possible.
Right.
Luckily, one of our insulation materials is pure alcohol, so our hands are usually with either soap and water or alcohol.
Right. So do you guys have anything else to add that I haven't asked, or stuff that people might be interested in?
Visit our website, modernelix.com. We're on Facebook, Modern Elix, Instagram, Modern Elix PPF.
Stop by the shop in Westchester.
Yeah,
not now.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
not now.
All right, well, I appreciate you guys being on. So just want to thank Eddie J and Evan from Modern Elix for taking some time out of their day to spend with us all. I'll have all their contact information below, their website, Instagram, Facebook. And once again, if you're watching on YouTube, please consider hitting that subscribe button below and the bell to be notified when new episodes air. And if you liked the video, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. You'll also be able to find this podcast, the audio only, on iTunes. The link is going to be below. And once again, if you guys have any questions or comments about the video or for the guys from Modern Elix, leave them below. Contact me. All my contact information is on the website, and we'll be happy to answer them. So many thanks for spending some time with us today. Please stay safe, happy, and healthy, and take care.